Great. Now, for this portion here, for the pre-auction portion, we're going to be looking at an upcoming sale that is happening here in White County, Nevada. So, like Steve said, we're trying to look at some areas here that we haven't looked at before. This is kind of a new county for us. Now, we've dealt with Nevada plenty before. Nevada is classified as a tax deed state, so most of the counties utilize tax deeds, but there are liens. Tax lien certificates are used in a few of the larger counties, like like in the Las Vegas area. I forget the name of that county.
Yeah, Clark County.
Clark County. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so usually about after 2 years of being delinquent, the county is going to go ahead and start the foreclosure process, and they usually sell it about after 3 years. But like Shade was talking, that these are called special assessment liens. So in Clark County, for example, Las Vegas, they're still going to sell tax deed properties. But some of these areas, like in towns, they also do it in Reno. If there's things that are done, within that area, then they'll place what's called a special assessment lien on it. So it's not for property taxes, it's for the county spending money or the city spending money on something.
Yeah, so an example of that would be things like pavement, curbs, gutters, street lights. Things like that are special assessment fees that they may add to the property. So if they go and put, let's say something like that, and in front of your home or in your neighborhood, they may add a special assessment fee that you have to pay there. And if you don't pay off that thing, then it'll become a special assessment lien, against the property. And it's just like any other lien in that way. They'll sell off that lien to investors, so they can collect the money for it right away, and the investors can earn about 12% on their money, which is going to be secured by property. So it's a great investment for them. But most of Nevada operates off of tax deeds, and they do have a number of online auctions, but some of the counties are still conducted through live sales or in-person sales. So you've got some that are online, but you also have some in-person sales.
Yeah, exactly. They use a premium bid system, like many tax deed auctions where they just start at the delinquent taxes and they bid up in price until whoever wins the property. And then at that point, you go ahead and get the deed. In fact, they're pretty good at getting out those deeds as well. So the counties we're going to look at are a little bit more rural. They just had their Las Vegas sale, their Clark County sale at the first of this month. So I'm hoping, I'm going to try contacting the county and see if we can get the sold list so we can kind of go through and review those. So once I'm able to get that, we'll go through and see what the property sold for in Las Vegas. But these are a little bit more rural counties, but it'll still be kind of interesting to look into them.
Yeah, so White Pine County, we can see, a couple of weeks ago, we talked a little bit about the Elko County sale that was just happening. It's to the county just south of Elko County, essentially. So we can see where it's located at right here. It's definitely a very rural county here. About 9,000 people in it. And so I think this is one of the sales here that's conducted on site here, a live auction. But what we can see though is this is their tax sale list. So these are the tax sale properties they have. This is this list is about 4 pages long. We can see the properties that they have listed there. We can also see some properties have redeemed here, and we have a number of properties here with bidding that starts at fairly low amounts here on some of these. But we've got a variety of different property types, and that's what we're going to check out here is a few of these. So minimum bid of $5,000, I think, is going to be one of these first here. Let's pull up this one right here. All right, so 283. Let me just see which one this one is
it's
here.
the very first one.
Oh, it is. All right, so it's this one right here.
I'm sorry. The first ones are mobile homes, and so it's the very first one past the mobile homes.
All right, let's see. Right.
Keep going up a little bit.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
It's right there. Okay, so we can see it's the one right here with the minimum bid 5,000. We can see there's the parcel number on it right there. When we pull up that record here, that assessment record, here is the property itself. And what we can see is we've got a single family home. We do have some images here of it. And let's see here. Well, we can see what is owed here. Value of the property total 71 is what they're saying here, $71,000 assessed value. Now let's pull up here and let's look at
It's actually across the street. Just look across the street and you'll see it. That brown house right there to the left.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So this is a July 2025 image, but clearly it has newer roofing on it. At least the roofing is not bad. Some of the stuff has been painted here before. And we've also got the address on the property right here, and we can pull up the Redfin on it. So it's valued at about 155. They're saying here. You know, you see it is an older house, built in 1910. But
Yeah.
the bid to value is really low. In other words, that $5,000 opening bid, it's not even 5% of the, it's not even 5% of the property's value. It's a very low opening bid amount. And so it means that there's a lot of room for this property to bid up. And it means, that it could end up selling with good profit margins.
Yeah, well, and in this area, it's going to be an on-site auction, so you're probably not going to have a whole lot of bidding or competition. I wouldn't be surprised if these properties do sell for maybe not the opening bid amounts, but not as much competition if there's just a couple of people there at the sell.
Yeah, really, it's an impressive opportunity here with that one. At $5,000, $155,000 in value. Yeah, that's just about as good as it gets. Let's look at this one right here. So starting at 2,500, so I think we're looking at the property here, probably just right down below it.
Yeah, I think it's the property. They may have updated their list today after
Yeah,
I did it.
it's possible. It could be that one right there. Just reading what. Let's see.
Yeah, I think it
0213.
is. I think they updated the list at the end of the day,
Oh
which is
yeah, they
good,
probably did.
because it wasn't, it was still available earlier today.
All right, let's see. Let's pull up 1.7 here. So 1.7 is still available here, which is this one right here. We're looking at with the minimum of 1,500 on it. And let's look at that one real quick. So property record pulls up this property right here. We have a mobile home. And let's see, I can see how big the property is it's sitting on here. Let's go down. We've got a few images of the property. It looks like there's also a shed or something there with it. Assessed, they've got it at 36,000.
Yeah, and these obviously aren't sexy properties. We're talking about rural Nevada. But what's interesting is that there's these type of tax sales taking place everywhere. And so there's good opportunity if you pick these up for a good price, even in a more rural area like that. If you get it for cheap enough, it still makes a lot of sense to turn around and buy it and sell it for a good profit.
Yeah, that property that we're looking at with $1,500 opening bid, it has a Redfin estimated value of 87,000. So there's a lot of money to be had here with a lot of these properties, even with low opening bid amounts, better than you'd normally see, or I think better in most cases. This other one here with the minimum bid of $2,000, number 1.4. And this one is also, looks like a single family home. Maybe sitting on some kind of foundation as well.
There's a lot of double wides out there, but they still have pretty good value to them. When we were looking at that last one, valued at about 90,000, valued about 116,000. Most of them are valued at $100,000 or more. Even for something like a single wide sometimes.
Well, and that's just, you don't normally see numbers like that for tax sales. Where you have opening bid amounts that are 2% of the property's estimated value, which is essentially what this is. It's just very rare to find numbers that low where the property taxes are that low and the property values are that high. You just don't normally see it. Here's another one, opening bid of 1,700, and let's see what it is here. And this one is also, a vacant single family residential here.
Well, no, it's actually a shed. If you scroll up a little higher, you can see where it says shed, no value. And if you click on the address, it'll pull up the Google map, and not the Google Street View, and kind of look at it. It's actually kind of a big lot.
Where does it say shed?
Right there, right next to it. See where, on the left-hand side of where the photo is.
Oh, right here, shed, no value. All right, yeah, I see what you're talking about there.
Because if you go down to the the assessment, you're going to see that there's no improvement value. So they're
Oh,
saying, the shed's kind of just there. It has no value to it at all. And so that's something to look at, but it is just kind of a garage shed.
yeah. And here's just another lot here, similar lot that is listed. This one's sold actually for $25,000 in 2024.
Yeah, and there were some lots for sale for about 50, about the same size, but I was trying to kind of see, what sold very closest to it, as close as I could get to it.
Yeah. Yeah, which I mean, again, it's opening up for $1,700, and so for it to have sold for 25, that's pretty good numbers right there. And the fact that they're also estimating the value currently at 48 means that, yeah, there's a lot of good room here with this county. And so here's one for $3,400 opening bid or minimum. And this one is also an old home.
Yeah, it's older, kind of rough, but it is kind of right there. You've got a road right next to it. The county's valued around 55,000.
And yeah, we've got it here at 130,000 on Redfin is about what they're estimating it. So like all of these have the same thing in common in that, the opening bid amounts are very low compared to what the properties are estimated to be worth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and as we get a little further down into the list, we're going to get into some different type of land properties. So, we're just looking at kind of some of the structures there. This one here is actually 80 acres. You can kind of see that up at the top, over
Oh
the
yeah.
top right. So we're talking about a lot of land. There's a couple of structures on it. Where that could be relevant is maybe they have something like a well, or a septic system or something like that set up on it. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go up and grab the parcel number. It's kind of obnoxious. And then you're going to have to erase the dashes.
Hey, there we go. Oh, nice. There you go. You can see where the property is located at here. So it's a real property, but yeah, 80 acres. It's quite a bit of property, starting pretty low.
Yeah, if you click on the address, it'll take you to the Google, where it's located on Google. So if you scroll out quite a bit, you can see that there's actually roads that are going out there, and it's just south of this community of Cherry Creek. So you're
Yeah.
only just a few minutes. Now it's not a big community, but it's still kind of an area there. 80 acres, and starting at a pretty low bid amount, these could be good land properties that could turn around and flipped and make some real good profit on.
Interesting. And so here we have a couple of different pieces of land that are for
Now,
sale.
now these ones have sold, but the first two that we were looking at, I was trying to find what we could find right next. That's only 5 acres.
So 59,000, 5 acres. It sold pretty recently here. So the one we're looking at is what, did you say 80 acres?
80 acres. Yeah, but these lots were sold, pretty close to where this lot was located.
Yeah, this one's also 5 acres that sold for 47,000 a couple of years ago. And then we have 160 here that sold for 180 a couple of years ago. So really the value on the property is probably around 100,000 or more.
Yeah, at least. I mean, even that one that we were just looking at that sold, that one's further out.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this
this
one's a
one's
lot
located,
closer. Yeah, a
yeah,
lot closer to town or to a major road, and it's right between, where you have actually, they may be dirt, but you've got an actual real road there, some type
yeah,
of county maintained road.
that's interesting. For 9,100, we have this property right here. This one is 315 acres, so it is a big property here. Let's copy that. We'll go down here to the map and see they're valuing it at 115,000. There is some kind of a structure. They put 15,000 there for some kind of a structure.
Yeah, I think they have a trailer out there. But 315 acres, that's big enough if somebody want to have something like a cattle ranch or, I mean, there's just a lot of different uses for it. I think that there is a lot of things like ranching and stuff that happens within this area.
Oh yeah, that looks. It also looks like it's pretty close to town, or at least not too far away. Oh, look what I just did. Oh, let me pull up my docs here again. There we go.
And I think if you click on it'll pull up the Google location as well, so you can kind of see where it's at. That's where the structure was, I think, was at, and it's everything south of that.
Wow.
So if you look at the map, that's kind of where it borders.
It's huge. Yeah, is everything in green?
No, I don't think so.
I must have pulled off it here. Oh wait, no, it's that up. That's it up here. There we go.
I don't know. No, I don't know where it's at.
Maybe it pulled up here. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we can see it better here. So yeah, now it makes sense. So you can see here's where where we have the, yeah. So basically it's this thing and it goes all the way out here to the road.
And goes
Right
over
here.
side, yeah, it goes over the road, and that's a main highway. So you can see the road that goes through it. So there's probably some type of easement that allows the highway obviously to go through the property, but you've got it on both sides of the road. And if you go down to the highway, you can kind of see what it looks like from the ground.
Yeah, so it's all the land up from here up to wherever there's a trailer out here somewhere. Right
So
up there.
it's the other direction, right? Because it's on the other side of the road, is what I'm saying. You're looking on the wrong side of the road, where the trailer would be at least. The trailer would be to your right.
Yeah, probably one of those back there.
And so it's kind of all of that land is sold for 9,100, and that 2,100 one is right next to it.
So you've got 38 acres here that sold in 2022 for 120. And well, here's what's currently listed for sale.
Oh, these are ones that have sold. Should have been popping them up for you, but there's this one here that's 300 acres, and then there's one right next to it, the one below it.
This one right here.
Yeah, the 2,900. So these two are right next to each other. They're just on essentially border each other.
So this one's 67 acres. Here we've got the parcel number. And yeah, the opening bid on this one is 2,900, a little bit lower. Assessed at 103.
So if you look at both of those, you've got 360 plus 67. That's a lot of land.
Yeah, it is.
And it's all pretty much flat. So you're not talking about, a real mountainous region. You've also got the main highway right there, so anyone can access it easy. See, that's just to the left of it.
Yeah, it is. It's
to the right of it.
Yeah, it would be connected.
Yeah.
It would be connected to that property. So here's the 360 acres, And here is the 67 acres right here. Yeah, that's really interesting. That's basically right there in the same location here.
Yeah, it's just across the street and down further. Kind of borders the whole thing a little bit.
Well, yeah, that is remarkable. There are really good deals there. And what, is this another county that's out there?
This is just Churchill. They're doing an online auction through Bid for Assets.
Oh, interesting. They've got 13 properties here available.
Yeah, and we could look up a couple of them if we want to. This one starts at $274. You can see that it's 17 acres. It's not very much.
Do I need to take out these?
No.
Oh, good. And let's see the map.
And it's kind of, out in the middle of nowhere, but you're still talking about 17 acres at $275. Now you've got to put it in.
Interesting.
But you can see that there is kind of a road up there. You can see it come along that top of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad for the money here for such a cheap property. That's not bad at all. For 1,100 here. This one's 20 acres.
Yeah, in fact, I think this one, there may have been access point to it. I think it was a little bit more in the mountains.
Yeah, they're all pretty cheap though. I mean, at least what we've seen so far, these have been pretty inexpensive. 1128 on this one as well. See if it's the same size. Might even be close to it. Probably right next to it. Yep.
Yeah, there's a couple that have some, I think even bigger sizes.
Yeah, see 20 acres.
That one's got an address to it.
Oh, it did. I did not see that.
Not this one, but must have been one of the other ones.
Here's one for 4,200 that does have a full address. It says it's 29 acres. Let's see what it pulls up here on the address. Oh, yes, it does pull up. And yeah, actually, the location on that looks pretty nice.
Well, look at you see the water to the left, and then you've got all that, farmland to the south.
Yeah, that actually looks like a pretty nice property here.
It also looks like it might have that a canal going through it or next to it.
Oh yeah, here it is right here. So yeah, you can see it does have that canal going through part of it there, but it's nice, it's nice and accessible by other neighbors here and close to, it's not difficult to access. Is this Ely here?
No, that's one. I don't know. I think that was the other county we're looking at.
It's Fallon. Yeah, that's city of Fallon.
Yeah, I think Ely was in the other county where the White Pine.
Yeah, this one also has a full address here. This one's a 1 acre, and so this one's a little bit different here. Let's pull up the address and see.
know, obviously we're looking into more rural areas today, but you know, they still have auctions, you know, in Reno, in Las Vegas, you know, Clark County, and in the bigger areas as well.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so this one is one of those sales where it's a more rural county, but the properties start really cheap, and a lot of these properties are actually pretty usable for being cheap properties and big chunks of land. They're pretty accessible.
Yeah, yeah. So there's definitely opportunity out there with the on-site auctions, obviously with the online auctions as well. And as far as this year, Clark County, the biggest county out of all of them, is still holding an on-site auction. So, in fact, I was going through the 2025. I could get the results in 2024, and there was some real good deals where, you know, there was between $200,000 to $300,000 worth of potential profit on some of the homes that were purchased in the Vegas area.